The dirtiest method to seduce a woman is not lying to her, not manipulating the conversation, not pretending to be someone you're not. The dirtiest method is much worse for your ego. It is killing the childish fantasy that being a nice guy is enough for her to desire you. It is accepting that attraction is a real game of value, tension, and emotional power. While you try to be correct, understanding, and always available, she feels only one thing: predictability. And predictability, in the realm of desire, is the equivalent of death. You live at war with something you don't admit. You're afraid of being seen as wrong, cold, or a jerk. So you wear the mask of the perfect man. You reply fast. You're overly polite. You agree with everything. You avoid being inconvenient at all costs. At the same time, you're addicted to female validation. You need the compliment, the reply, the look, the like. Without it, you feel worthless. Behind all of this is silent terror, fear of showing interest and being rejected, fear of being exposed as the guy who tried and got a no. You don't realize it, but this entire package sends a clear message to her brain: I'll do anything to be chosen. The raw truth is uncomfortable. Women are not attracted to the man who sells himself cheap, who begs for attention, who keeps trying to look perfect all the time. They respond to contrast, to the feeling that you have options. They desire the man who doesn't fold at the first opportunity, who doesn't need to prove every minute that he's a good guy. He conveys through his gaze and posture that he's there by choice, not desperation. Attraction is not born from excessive kindness. Attraction is born from the combination of presence, unpredictability, and the power to refuse. Seduction is a silent game of power, not performance. The seducer is not the clown who entertains, not the servant who pleases, not the boy who keeps asking if everything is okay. Attraction often grows when a man has his own direction and doesn't try to explain or justify himself at every step. When someone senses that you value your time and aren't afraid of losing approval, interest tends to increase naturally. This challenges the common belief that being endlessly available, agreeable, and accommodating automatically leads to attraction. In reality, attraction responds more to confidence and emotional stability than constant reassurance. It invites honest self-reflection, not blaming others, but recognizing when a lack of boundaries, confidence, or self-direction may have worked against you. This approach isn't about manipulating people or playing games. It's about standing up for yourself, setting standards, and no longer putting your worth in someone else's hands. Research in social psychology suggests that confidence, self-assurance, and emotional independence are consistently rated as attractive traits, while excessive approval-seeking can reduce perceived confidence. What's often labeled as being too nice is sometimes interpreted as insecurity or fear of rejection. Healthy kindness is attractive. Self-sacrifice rooted in neediness is not. When someone operates from desperation or fear of loss, it shows. Attraction tends to fade when a person abandons their own needs to gain validation. The goal of this video is to move away from approval-seeking behavior and toward a mindset based on self-respect, calm confidence, and emotional balance. No gimmicks, no manipulation. Just a framework for becoming someone who chooses with clarity and self-worth, rather than seeking permission to be wanted. In the middle of this breakdown, a deeper structure appears, a code of seduction. A training where the real mechanisms behind attraction are exposed, built on psychology and practiced experience, not empty theory. This code is not scattered across random videos on the internet. It requires structure, clarity, and precise application. Before that, you must understand why playing the nice guy is the fastest way to remain invisible. The fatal mistake is trying to seduce by being too clean. You don't realize how much you weaken yourself when you try to be perfect. Every time you soften your voice to avoid sounding aggressive, measure your words to avoid misunderstanding, or say, "It's okay" when nothing is okay, you reduce your presence. In her eyes, you become less of a man and more of an anxious candidate competing for approval. Female desire does not come from constant softness. It comes from calm presence, Softness without backbone becomes emotional submission. And emotional submission eliminates sexual tension completely. You present yourself as impeccable, but too impeccable to be desired. You believe extreme kindness shows maturity and constant availability shows interest. In the psychology of attraction, it means something else. It means fear. Fear of losing, fear of upsetting, fear of being rejected. That fear leaks through your smile, your response timing, and your posture. And when she feels fear, she does not feel desire. She feels predictability, and predictability kills instinct. Evolutionary psychology is clear. Women don't seek only security. They seek emotion, intensity, emotional reading, and decision-making ability. Traits linked to social dominance and self-confidence way more than exaggerated kindness. It is not kindness that kills attraction. It is kindness used as a shield to hide insecurity. The man who is too impeccable sends a silent message. I am at your disposal. Just choose me. Anything at someone's disposal loses value instantly. That is why she doesn't pull away because you are too good. That story is an excuse to avoid facing the real problem. She pulls away because you offer no tension, no contrast, no emotional challenge. You don't provoke curiosity, you don't awaken instinct. Your behavior is linear, predictable, and emotionally too clean. When everything is too clean, nothing is exciting. Research on first encounters shows people choose based on presence, attitude, and confidence, not perfect words or polite behavior. The man who tries to please loses to the man who exists with force and knows exactly who he is. The real world rewards attitude, not polite submission. That is why the method begins with an internal rupture. Stop trying to prove you are a good choice. The moment you try to prove, you place yourself below, waiting for approval. Show standards through behavior, firm posture, your own rhythm, clear, grounded eye contact. Don't reply immediately every time. Don't be available for every conversation. Availability without limits signals low value. Don't over-explain your intentions. The man who explains too much is trying to convince, not expressing value. The rule is simple. You choose to. You are not there to beg. You are there to evaluate. When you absorb this truth, she feels it. And when she feels it, the entire dynamic shifts. The dirtiest method is creating emotional tension without asking for anything. The silent mistake that destroys strength begins when you try to seduce by asking. You ask for attention, you ask for replies, you ask for validation, and the one who asks has already lost. Your gestures, messages, and response timing reveal dependency disguised as friendliness. In attraction, dependency is never invisible. A woman does not move closer because you show need. She moves closer when she feels an energy that pulls, not one that begs. This invisible field separates the man who chases from the man who attracts. Reciprocity and emotional scarcity govern the dynamic. What is scarce gains value. What is given too freely loses impact. This is not manipulation. It is rhythm control. You dose attention, curiosity, and vulnerability with precision. You don't deliver intensity in every message. You don't make yourself available for every conversation. You don't pour your energy out without direction. Emotional scarcity is not coldness, it is self-control. And self-control creates expectation breaks. She is used to men chasing, over-explaining, and proving they are different. When you don't, something unfamiliar activates. Curiosity. The question appears in her mind. Why is this man not competing like the others? At that moment, you exist as an exception, and exceptions are desired. Research confirms this dynamic. People value partners more when they show interest without dependency and connection without self-erasure. Attraction grows in the balance between presence and mystery, warmth and distance, connection and having your own life. This is not absence. It is not coldness. It is completeness. A man who is whole, yet still chooses to be there. Applying this method means entering controlled tension. Never reply as if you were waiting by the phone. Your response time reveals your level of self-sufficiency. Break predictable patterns with light provocation and grounded sincerity. When she shows interest, don't rush to close everything at once. Increase intimacy gradually. Lead the rhythm. Leave space for her to participate. Space is what creates pursuit. This space is where attraction grows. This space is where desire breathes. If you want to understand this psychological game deeply, you must study the structure behind it. Seduction is not a line or a trick. It is a system built on psychology, behavior, and emotional dynamics. This system transforms your presence into something magnetic, something that pulls without asking, something impossible to ignore. Most men fail before they begin because they misunderstand the game. They confuse strategy with manipulation. The first mistake is believing that controlled distance means lack of character. It does not. Manipulation comes from insecurity. Control comes from self-mastery. Men who lie, perform, and wear masks are emotionally fragile. They try to control outcomes because they fear rejection. The real dirty method requires more truth than you are used to holding. Clear intention, calm presence, self-control. Those who manipulate are desperate. Those who dominate are centered. Self-control and self-worth are the pillars of mature seduction. People who regulate their emotions, impulses, and reactions are perceived as confident, stable, and powerful. Emotional stability is not boredom. Emotional stability is power. A man who does not react immediately, who does not shift his mood over a message, becomes a rare presence. Rarity has value. Value generates attraction. Here is the part you must accept. You stop being needy without asking for permission. You stop seeking approval and begin acting from your own internal structure. The deepest expectation break is assuming without fear that you are a sexual man, not a desperate teenager, not a friend hiding desire, not a nice guy ashamed of wanting. A sexual man is clear, calm, and direct. He desires, but he controls his desire. She does not desire the man who wants nothing. She desires the man who wants, but does not need. This balance, internal intensity and external composure, is what creates polarity. And polarity is the engine of attraction. Science supports this balance. Women are drawn to men who combine confidence, assertiveness, and self-control. This is not aggression. It is not submission. It is firmness without chaos, calm without weakness. This balance activates both safety and excitement at the same time. That combination is rare, and rarity is magnetic. This explains why some men attract effortlessly while others fight for attention. Applying this method requires brutal honesty with yourself. Stop hiding desire behind fake friendship. Align your behavior with your real intention. Speak calmly, look clearly. Do not over-explain or justify every move. Let your behavior carry your intention without needing explanation. Calibrate your energy to her response. If she steps back, you step back. If she advances, you hold the tension. This rhythm creates trust and desire at the same time. It is the dance of attraction led by someone who understands the emotional field. This is the bridge between the man guided by fear and the man guided by intention. When you reach this point, your behavior begins to speak louder than your words. You stop playing like a beginner and start operating with awareness and control. From here, your identity changes, and identity is what attracts more than any technique. The dirtiest method is ending your dependence on female validation. This truth damages the ego of anyone who tried to be perfect, polite, and always acceptable. The method has nothing to do with tricks, games, or scripted lines. It begins when you break the emotional cowardice that has guided you since adolescence. It is dirty because it destroys the clean image you built to feel safe and approved. The image of the polite, gentle, always available man who believes being pleasant is enough to be desired. Seduction does not come from emotional cleanliness. It comes from presence. It comes from the strength you hold without handing it out. It comes from the man who acts, not the man who begs. Nietzsche spoke of the will to power, not the childish urge to dominate others, but the discipline to dominate yourself. Seduction begins exactly there, when you control impulses of neediness and stop seeking permission to exist. When you stop seeing a woman as validation and start seeing her as a possibility, not salvation, that internal power gives a man the right to choose, and the difference is brutal. One man chooses, the other begs to be chosen. These two worlds do not overlap. The common man lives dependent on her reply, the message that might arrive, the look that confirms he still exists. Every interaction feels like judgment. Every silence feels like rejection. The man who applies the method understands his life does not revolve around female interest. He builds body, mind, routine, and purpose first. Desire becomes a consequence, not a goal. He does not chase attention. He knows attention follows real value. Research confirms this path. Women respond more to stable confidence, clear purpose, and emotional control than to surface traits. It is not brightness that attracts. It is internal strength. A man who holds silence, does not seek approval, and stands firm activates desire naturally. Psychology leaves no doubt. Women are drawn to men who dominate themselves. That self-mastery creates connection without force. This closing is not comfort. It is responsibility. None of this works without practice. None of it works without repetition. It fails the moment you keep feeding the fragile version of yourself. Seduction is posture, energy, rhythm, intention, and emotional reading. It is not magic. It is not destiny. It is construction. The dirtiest method demands courage because it forces you to leave the place where you feel safe, but never win. Growth begins where approval addiction ends. If you want to go further, there is a complete structure behind this process. A system that breaks down attraction into clear mechanisms and precise application. A map for the man who refuses to operate at the ordinary level. This system is not loose theory and not motivational talk. It explains the internal engine of attraction and how masculine presence becomes magnetic. Few men know this structure. Even fewer apply it correctly. It is not a shortcut. It is not comfort. It is responsibility, discipline, and awareness. When you understand this, you see why some men become unforgettable and why others remain invisible despite effort. The difference is not luck. It is internal position. One man waits to be chosen. The other already chose himself. And that choice changes everything.